Are there any new developments in your whole area, or is the land so scarce that there's really, like what's the environment of
Mm-hmm.
building?
Sure. No, there's new projects, complexes going up all the time. We're actually getting ready. So it's an 18 unit complex over in Wildwood, and that should be finished up by the end of this year, beginning of January of next year. And that's 18 units there. That started almost a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago. That project started. Yes, land is always scarce. I mean, you draw a circle. This is where I'm located. You draw the circle, and this half here is ocean. This half here is dirt. So it's half of our circle is ocean. You can't build on that. It's just land. So land does become a scarcity. It also becomes a matter of what do the towns want. There's ordinances, rules and regulations, whatever phrase or words you want to use. That towns are, they're starting to move towards. Whether it's not allowing townhouses or multifamily properties onto single family, a little bungalow that's been there since the 1940s and 50s, but it has a really good sized lot, but now there's ordinances and rules and regs that are put in from the towns that you no longer can knock that down, and even though it's based on a certain it's a lot size, they're not letting you put 4 units on there or 2 units on there. You have to put a single family on there. So that all falls into that category. We do start to see, we have seen in the last, so I know over the last 2 years, and I know that there's more of that, but we were on the buying side involved with, there were 2 complexes in the Crest where they had motels that were family run, that they've converted into they're year-round condos now. The Cape Cod and the Beau Rivage. Well, now all of a sudden you're opening up 30, 20 to 40 units that are now available for sale for people. So you have those as well, that have sort of come back, where you have these revitalizations of old hotels that are now putting the condo conversions, is what we call them, the condo hotels, or just a straight up condo conversion. And so that does add, now all of a sudden you're adding, like I said, to the inventory, this group of properties that are there. So they do pop up, but I think now that there's more of the side by side townhouses, or like a lot of the new constructions you're seeing right now are, you have the 2 condos with a townhouse next to it, 2 condos with a townhouse. So it's one building with 3 units, as opposed to one building with 8 units. You're not really seeing too much of that, which again it all goes hand in hand with your price point. Like, you also want to start to look at what's more of a luxury type of living. Do you want to live with 24 condos, or would you rather be in a position where you can have two buildings with 6 units? I think that's what you're seeing, a lot of that.
How often are people building like a new single family home out here? And how easy is that to do?
Oh, it's easy to do. You see new there is a tremendous amount of new construction going on in the Wildwoods. I think any short town, if you would drive up and down, any of the streets, you would see new construction all the time. And people would say, well, my God, what do you mean there's no inventory? I mean, they're building all the time. Yes. Now, let's remember, they're building all the time. They're taking down a property and probably building a new property and building a new one. That may not be something that's also for sale. Someone may have purchased that property, whether it's the previous owners cashing out, it was in the family for 100 years, and no one's no longer using the property. So a new buyer comes in, they purchase the home, they knock it down, and they build it. But they're living there. That's not going to be up for sale. So you're not necessarily adding to the inventory. You're just replacing something that was there with something new.
Are people building less single family homes than other, like?
No, I would say that you're seeing a lot of. There are some builders that just do single families. There are some builders that just do side by sides. That's their niche. That's what they like to do. So I think it does really depend on the builder you're maybe working with. You know, if you're on the listing side, you're going to sell a property. If you can put a side by side, or an up and down there. Who your builder is. It's a good mix as far as single families and in condo townhouses that are coming on. They're not the, if you talk about condo townhouses, they're just not the big complexes anymore. You're seeing 2 units or 4, 2, 3, 4 units in one building.
Is that because it makes more sense with like the current culture of Airbnb and vacation renting?
Potentially, yeah. Could be that. I think it also becomes, you're looking at the wants and the ability to do it. You have to be able to put an 18-unit building somewhere.
Yeah. It seems to me like maybe there's a sweet spot for Airbnbs where and I'm just speculating here, but like if you have, a townhouse and 2 condos, that maybe could rent for more than a single family home, but it's also more attractive than if you had all these tiny little condos.
Sure.
Or something.
Yes.
Just speculating.
Yeah. I would say this, the one thing that you always have to pay attention to if you're a purchaser, if you're a buyer, and you are looking to rent, is to make sure that, number one, you can rent in the building you're buying or in the complex that you're buying. And number two, if you want to get into the Airbnb and VRBO, that you're allowed to do that as well. Not every complex allows you to do that.
Is that dictated by the complex itself, or are there laws?
No, that's by the condo. That's the association itself. Yeah, that would be in your master deed and your condo docs.
And the reason they would disallow that is just because they don't like vacation.
No, I don't think it's a dislike. There's just usually it's complexes that have been in existence for quite a while. There are a few complexes that you're not allowed to do rental. You're not allowed to have pets. There's complexes that you can do rental, but you can't do short-term rental. It has to be annual. So, you need to make sure that you have those, that you check that out. You can see rental, but make sure you know what the rental is. Is the seller doing it? Is the owner doing it on their own? Is there an on-site manager that you have to use? That also is something that you have a property management on site that does the rental for you. They may not allow, and again, that's within the structure of that condo complex, that you can't rent outside of that. If you're gonna rent it, you have to use the rental management that's on site.